4, you always wait, almost always wait. 3, usually wait. 2, seldom wait. And 1, you never wait until you have all the information. Number 3, do you respect other opinions even if you disagree? That one's tough to do, especially nowadays. Most people don't like to do this. Respect other people's opinions even if you don't agree.
I do.
So if I were to say, I'm not going to say that, not even as a joke. I was gonna say Scotland's the worst country, but I couldn't even bring myself to joke about it. Exactly. Do you respect other people's opinions even if you disagree?
I would respect you, but I would definitely disagree.
All right, number 4. Are you careful to judge the message rather than the speaker? This goes in line with the other one. If someone's saying something that you don't agree with, do you judge what they're saying instead of judging them as a person? It is. Especially whenever you try to be honest with it.
Especially where it is sometimes.
It's okay.
Because you could like somebody and then they come away with something and you, well, really. Or somebody else that you're not really keen on and they are judgmental.
Right. Right.
Don't make you anyway.
It can be hard, but the good thing is if we fill this out, then we can figure out where our weaknesses are, and that's how we improve and get better. That's why we read, to grow. All right, next one. Can you listen non-judgmentally even if you do not like or agree with the person who's talking? So even if Jim's talking, just kidding, we all love Jim. All right, number 6. Do you stop what you're doing, ignore most distractions, and give your full attention when listening? This one's become a lot harder nowadays because of technology. It's very tempting to, if someone's saying something that you've heard before, that you aren't necessarily interested in, or if to just pull your phone, or if you're holding your phone and someone's talking, regardless of your interest, if you feel it vibrate or hear it go off, it's tempting to even look at it. But even just looking at it takes away your listening from the other person, your full attention from them. All right, number 7. Do you give the speaker appropriate eye contact, head nods, and other nonverbals to indicate that you're listening, such as taking notes during meetings? Number 8. Do you question the person to clarify his or her ideas more fully? This is very important, especially whenever you're listening to someone who is leading you or giving you instructions. We want to make sure that we're doing what they're asking, and so it's best to ask questions so that they clarify, so that we do the right thing instead of doing what we think they want. Number 9, do you paraphrase what's said and ask if you got it right? That one's a tough one. Yeah, I don't do that one often either.
You don't like to interrupt.
That's right.
What do you mean with paraphrasing?
Um,
Is it like the middle of the story or?
It's like maybe you're repeating what they've said and questioning it and making sure that you've got what they've said is right.
Right, for example, say Jim comes to me and says, Jamie, I need you to go downstairs. In the library, you'll find my coat jacket. In that is my pen. Can you take that to Pastor Kelly? And I would say, you want me to go downstairs and get your pen from your coat jacket in the library and take it to Pastor Kelly? to make sure that I'm doing what he's actually asking. And then he would say, yes.
Just repeating what you said to back to him, just to make sure she got it right.
Do you show concern by acknowledging the speaker's feelings? That one can be tough, especially if they're feeling something that you're not feeling at that moment. That one can be hard because, say Ashton were to come up to me and say that she's scared about some new opportunity coming up in her life. She's nervous and doesn't really know what's going on. I am not facing that same situation, and so I don't feel the same way about it because it's her new opportunity. You know, she's going and she's going to go to Timbuktu and start a church, but she's nervous about it. Because I'm not facing the same thing, I wouldn't feel as nervous about it. But to be a good listener means to acknowledge their feelings and say, I understand that you're feeling scared. That's understandable, and listening to their concerns.
Feel more for her.
You think you would what?
Feel more for her.
Okay. Great. Yeah. I think women are better at this most of the time.
Almost always.
All right, now after you're done with that, you just add up your score, the complete total, and then once you have your score, we'll go through this and talk about what they are. Do some quick maths here. All right, does everybody have their score? No?
Everybody's on those too.
I've done mine.
27.
37?
27.
Okay, 27. 38,
I'm 33.
33.
James is 28.
Okay, 28. All right.
I thought I'd get more than that.
36,
13.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 22, 23, 25, 6, 7, 28.
All right, we're going to read through these.
I thought I'd get more than that. So okay to 31. I'm going to 38.
So if your score is 36 to 40, that means you are an outstanding listener. You're truly attentive and you're trying to be an active listener. You're killing it. If your score was 30 to 35, that means you're very good. With some effort, you could become a strong listener. You probably need to put more effort into attention and non-judgmental evaluation. Is that true?
Yes.
All right. If your score is 26 to 29,
29.
then this one needs work. Identify your lowest self-ratings and ask why you see yourself that way. What would the payoff be if you could improve? And then 25 or below, yikes, what would you gain if you could answer each question more positively? All right, so now we have that, and now we all can kind of assess where we're at as listeners and see where our negative traits are in listening and grow in that. Like I was saying before, that's the good thing about doing this is now we know where to work on. We know what what areas we need to grow in. So, what do you think the point of being a good listener is? Why is it necessary?
Because it helps other person as well. Could be something interesting.
It's gives you understanding,
Mm-hmm.
not only about the way you're feeling, but the way others are feeling too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listen better when there's visual aids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see in my eyes, right? I hear with my eyes,
Right.
if that makes sense.
You what?
I hear with my eyes.
If she
I
has.
actually do because I'm a bit deaf. So I'm going to do that.
Well, there we go.
I hear with my eyes for the sake of that I absorb more when there's visual aids in front of me.
Right. Right.
I am quite judgmental about it as well. Because sometimes I look at person right and I say some, especially when I know it's not true. Because there isn't people in this church that can do things. And I'll go out. And I can never go and look and do something. And I wouldn't say that.
Right.
Because if I say it, then I can cause trouble and I don't want that.
Well, what are some ways that we can address judgmental listening and change that behavior?
Sometimes I think you would need to have a better attitude in yourself and a more forgiving way, because I know there's times myself when I might not like the person,
Mm-hmm.
but what they're talking about is really interesting,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And sometimes you get that bit where, because it is that person, you just don't want to take it in, but
Right.
you know it is, but it's, I think you need to improve in yourself and your attitude and things and make sure that you're right towards.
Right.
Well, I would need to want that because see if I don't like you, I'll not have a conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say hello, give you a piece and presents and say hello to you and walk on. I don't like you, there's no point in you going to make faces and go,
Right.
I love you, but I really don't.
That's where you would
I
need to change
really
it, kind of.
don't like you.
Right.
I can't do that.
You would need
If
to
I
try
don't
and
like
change
you,
your
I-
perspective on people. And
My facial
Thanks.
expression tells
Yeah.
if I don't like you, I don't like you.
Right.
And that's just me, I can't help that.
Yeah. I think one way to kind of help in that sort of area, if there's someone that's saying something that, you know, either we don't necessarily like what they're saying or we don't enjoy that person too much. If we kind of look at the bigger picture, you know, of who we are and who we're called to be and what we're called to do. You know, we're children of God. We're called to be that and to love these people. And so if I come up to you and I say, Scotland's the worst country ever, then maybe look at that and say, there's something wrong here. How can I help this person to see what's right? I know that's a funny example. That's a funny example. But, you know, if it's something like, I love Scotland. I wouldn't have been here this long if I didn't love it. But if there's something like, maybe something political that someone comes up with, you know, that, or something that you know just isn't true. If they come up with some craziness that you know, like you've studied it out and you know that that's not true, maybe instead of judging what they're saying or judging the person, approach it in, how can I help them? How can I help them to see this or to understand this? What can I do to help them grow? And then in doing that, it kind of cuts out the, you're this person because you believe this or because you feel that, and kind of let me see where you're coming from, try to understand why you feel that way, and help you see it a better way or even just a different way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have never ignore anybody, even somebody that I don't really like. I would try.
Right.
Because I've been some people I didn't like, and then I knew I really liked them, because I
Right.
did try. But I suppose if there was something that they were saying and I knew it was the truth, I would go up to them and say to them, well, I've got facts to it,
Yeah.
and I can assure you there's some.
Right.
I know the facts, and what you've been told is wrong because this is such and such, and that's such and such. And
Right.
this is a true fact. I would tell them, and then I would turn in and say to them, you don't believe me, Poole,
Yeah.
offend you.
Well, I think if we're part of being a good listener, we need to try to understand where they're coming from. Not just hear it, but try to think of maybe how they got to that place. You know, if some crazy person walks in here and says that Scotland's the worst country, maybe there's some underlying issue that their heart was broken by a Scotsman.
You should
Or-
send them up to me. Say it all.
You know, let's that's one important part of listening is trying to understand what's going on behind the issue. Another important part of listening is full attention, like we talked about. You know, phones and different things can be a distraction. Even just our minds sometimes can be a distraction. I know sometimes people are talking to me and they'll say something, you know, like, I had to go to the store because I needed to get this and this and this, and all of a sudden I'm thinking about all the things that I need to go to Asda and get, you know? And so that's something that can be a distraction. But when we're doing that and we don't consciously make an effort to listen to them, we can miss certain things. You know, like if I'm like, I had to go to the store because I needed to get some flour and some butter and some tissues because my cat died and I needed to get this and this and this. If we're zoned out, we might miss that part where we needed to reach out and minister to someone in some way, you know, or to be there. Problem like, I need to go get this stuff because I'm going to make some southern food because I'm feeling really homesick. And then just a lot of times people will slip in pain and hurt in the middle of something. And if you're not listening, if you're not being attentive, then you're going to miss that. And that's an opportunity to minister, to witness, to help. And those are things that we need to be conscious of and be aware of when we're listening. All right. Anything else about listening? Nope. All right, well that's us for today. You're gone about 10 minutes early. So,
Oh, good.
woo!
Yay! Oh, you're here.
There we go.
Do you like any